What's up, Sarsaparilla? It's your girl Sassy J, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back, guys. It's time for another Love Island review. But before I get into the video, guys, I'm going to ask you guys to give the video a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Please like and subscribe. Listen, I've got all of 15-20% left on my phone in my battery, so I'm going to try and speed through this. But anyways, guys, so do you know what? I know. And where's my friends? Edie, I'm talking to you. Now, like, guys, I want to point out, and I feel like I would not be Sassy J if I didn't point this out. Now, Helena got a lot of stick from both Shakira and Tony, right? For moving on to other girls' men, right? Without coming to pull them first. Now, did Tony not just do the same thing? Did she not? Did she not just crawl on the terrace to talk to, what's his name, and tell him to leave Lauren? Did she not? You know what I'm saying? And I know before you guys come and say nothing, she didn't go and pull Lauren. Do you see what I'm saying? But she was upset that Helena didn't pull her. So what's good for the goose ain't good for the gander? Do you see what I'm saying? I'm just going to point it out. And she got, Helena got stick for going to the hideaway with another guy. Shakira went with Connor. And I understand that Connor did end things with Emily. Is it Emily? Emma. With Emma. And I understand that. And I respect Shakira for taking a stand and not kissing Connor. Because that showed a lot of respect. So I'm not going to hold that. I'm not trying to compare in that sense, because obviously, you know, she didn't kiss Connor. She was being respectful towards Ty, right? But what I'm saying is, she's not judging Tony as how they judge Helena, because she knows what Tony did was morally wrong, as she told Tony. But at the same time, they're not judging her and slagging her off or anything. Obviously, they're not going to slag her off because it's her friend. But they're not like, do you know what I mean? I think the way that they're dealing with it is not being looked at or frowned upon the way they frowned upon Helena with it. Because, yes, Shakira has a reservation, and yes, she's spoken to Tony about it, but she's spoken to Tony about it in a way of more of concern for Tony, in the fact that Tony, she doesn't feel like Harrison deserves Tony, and she feels like Tony should have some self-respect and remember her worth in the situation, not in a way where they basically told Helena off, because the blame was pointed on Helena for trying to steal Harrison from her, or try to steal Harry from Shakira. But that's not the focus in the situation with Tony and Harrison. Do you see what I'm saying? So I'm just pointing out how that is a bit unfair. Just saying it as it is. And the next thing I want to point out, you know, ironically, Tony and Helena, what is this? Do you see what I'm saying? And do you know what this is? Because Shakira has made it obvious to Tony that she doesn't feel like Tony should be going down that road with Harrison, and because Shakira and Yasmin said to Tony that they were disappointed, I feel like Tony did not feel that she could have that conversation with those two girls. So she went to have the conversation with Helena. Ironically, right? Ironically, isn't it? It's very ironic that she felt that she could talk to Helena about that situation. You know what I'm saying? And I get it, because obviously if your girls feel like you shouldn't be doing it, then obviously you're not really going to want to talk to them directly about certain things, because you already know what they're going to tell you not to do. And you want somebody to support your views on what you want to do, right? So obviously that person, she chose for it to be Helena. Anyways, this whole situation, I just feel like Harrison he's just getting away with murder at this point. I think he is. And I'm not going to lie, Tony's saying to Cash, oh, I could have kissed him. Tony, you could have kissed him. You wanted to kiss him. Let's not put too much emphasis on the fact that, you know, yeah, I could have kissed him, but I didn't kiss him. You wanted to kiss him. Everything in her wanted to kiss him. And I understand that she fought the urge not to, but it's not something that's going to give anyone comfort especially Cash in that situation where everything about her body language is saying that she wanted it. Do you see what I'm saying? And the thing is, she's pointing it out like he's the one. Yes, Harrison initiated their meeting, but she's not coming up front and saying to Cash, well, I told him that, leave Lauren and then we could be together. She's not saying this to Cash. There's still a part of her just trying to, yes, she's being honest with Cash to a certain extent, but she's also concealing stuff from Cash. Do you see what I'm saying? Because she didn't tell him that. And Harrison, don't be fooled. Lauren is saying to Harrison, thank you for telling me this. Harrison didn't tell Lauren that part because he was trying to be transparent. He told her because he wanted to gas himself up in the fact that he wants to say to Lauren, well, Tony likes me more than she likes Cash. That's the reason why he did it. He didn't do it because he wanted to be transparent to Lauren. That was never the reason why he did it. Do you know what I'm saying? I think he even took himself by surprise when he actually said it. Because I don't think he intended to. Do you know what I'm saying? But anyways, guys, let's move on from them because I feel like there's so much going on in that situation and somebody's going to get hurt because Harrison just don't know how to be honest. And he's doing the same exact thing. When I say the same exact thing that he did with Tony and Helena, the same exact thing. The only difference is now, Tony is Helena in the situation, right? Tony's Helena in the situation. That's the only difference. Because even when Jamie said to him, like, I feel like, you're now more gravitating towards Tony and you might not have that much of interest in the situation with Lauren. And his response was, man, I don't know, man. I don't know. If you really wanted Lauren, you would have said, no. Do you know what I'm saying? You didn't even say that. So at the end of the day, I'm just like, what is this? But anyways, let's move on from that for a moment. Emma, I have to say this. Emma telling Andrada that she believes that, if she said to Harry she wants to be back, he would definitely be on it. She is painting to Andrada that Harry is basically not happy with Helena, right? And she could see it the way that he's behaving, and she's making it look like Harry is coming onto her. Now, I don't know what happened behind closed door and what we did not see, but from what I was watching, Harry was basically trying to be supportive, which is what I said last night. I feel like when Connor calls it off with Emma, he might have his overprotected side where he doesn't want her to feel left out. He doesn't want her to feel hurt. So he will step up and be like, I'm here to talk. Kind of like what's his name? That guy, and the one that was in the thingy last time. I can't remember his name. That scaffolder guy and the blonde girl that ended up with Tommy. I can't remember her name. But how he became kind of like supportive of her, even though they were exes when she wasn't when she was going through the thing with her and Tommy. This is basically what I knew would happen. Now, watching it, I don't see where Harry was trying to flirt with her. She, however, Emma was flirting with Harry. First of all, she's saying to Harry, I don't think she likes this. And when Harry said, who, Helena, she said no. So basically she's trying to put Shakira in the mix. And what she does is she said to him, I don't think any of them are good for you. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't think any of them are good for you. So basically she's trying to sow a seed in his head. Then she's flirting, saying how, what would be funny is if I went into bed with you and Helena. And then she wants to say to him, sniff my armpit. You want to. So basically she's trying to do the things that they would normally do in a relationship. She's trying to tempt him with it. What Emma is trying to do, Emma's going to try and flirt with Harry. Right? That's what she's going to try and do. She's going to try and flirt with Harry to get some attention. Because the way she's painting it to Andrada is that she's the one that's not interested. Because even though they love each other, they both know they're not right for each other. Now, I didn't see any of that conversation happen with her and Harry. I don't see Harry trying to say that he wasn't happy with Helena. I don't know what this is. And I think Emma is really trying to play up at the moment. Do you know what I'm saying? She's trying to play up into the... And I was hoping that this would come out, but Andrada's now been dumped, her and Ben, so it probably won't. But I've got my side eye on Emma. Because obviously her dolly house just came to an end. So now she's going to try and be mischievous, right? And she's going to paint Harry wants me. I know Harry more than anybody else. Me and Harry are in love. She's going to say to him, I don't think anybody understands how serious we were. We were in love. We were together 5 years. The tattoo on your hand shows it. Babe, move on. Move on. She knows what she's doing. At the end of the day, even if Harry is not interested in Emma, he's not going to hurt her feelings and say that he's not interested. I'm not saying that he's not interested, because you know what Harry's like. But what I'm trying to say is, at the end of the day, he would not make her feel some type of way, because Harry has that thing where he's not completely honest sometimes, because he's tried to save people's feelings. I get that. But by doing that, he hurts everybody's feelings. Do you know what I mean? But Emma is the one who's trying. Emma is flirting with Harry, but she's going to paint the picture like it's the other way around. And if she wanted to be with Harry, she could be with Harry, but she's the one that's deciding not to, because obviously Harry's not happy in his couple, right? Okay, so at the end of the day, I'm just like, I'm watching her. I was watching the conversation with her and Connor was making sense. At the end of the day, if you guys are arguing all the time, I'm not going to want to be kissing and hugging. You're not my man. If you're my man, when we're arguing, yes, after we're done arguing, you better be slapping my butt. You better be kissing my neck. You better be spooning me, because at the end of the day, we argue, but we're going to make up. But you ain't my man. You guys are not a couple. You're not in a relationship. So at the end of the day, we arguing means we're not clicking. Means you're getting on my nerves. Give me my space. I'm not going to come and hug you and kiss you up. You know what I'm saying? That makes no sense. I think she's thinking about it in two different scenarios. Like, relationship is different. This is just people getting to know each other. This is not a relationship. This is just people getting to know each other to see if they actually can tolerate each other long enough to see if they can form a connection. That's all it is. Do you know what I'm saying? But anyways, Connor is completely invested now in Shakira. And I think Shakira felt like her telling Connor that, oh, I kissed Ty. I feel like her saying that, she expected him, she wanted to make him jealous. Do you know what I'm saying? But it backfired. Because it did kind of make him jealous, but it backfired on her. To the point where he's saying, well, you know, I'm not upset with you, but at the same time, it makes me realize how you feel, because I asked you for a kiss and you said no, and then you kissed him. You see how quickly Shakira kind of doubled down, like, oh, well, you know, actually, but it made me aware of how I feel. And he's like, how? And she's like, well, I like you more. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, we all know that Shakira likes Connor more. She might try to downplay things, but we know she likes Connor more. And even when they were chosen as the most compatible couple, her reaction, people would have been happy in that situation. She's like, what the hell? You can see Ty looking like, what the hell? You could see that he was like, what the hell? What the hell? Because at the end of the day, I'm not being funny. If that was a couple that you were happy in, you would have not responded like that. So I'm hoping Ty is paying attention, because obviously he knows the situation about Connor trying to get to know Shakira and whatever. And at the end of the day, look at this, because I'm gonna go back to it. I remember Shakira said very clearly, there's other places people can get to know each other instead of in the hideaway. But she went into the hideaway. Yes, she didn't kiss Connor, but she went in the hideaway. And I remember her saying, at the end of the day, why not, if you're going to take somebody in the hideaway, why don't you come and tell the other person? But then she didn't tell Ty she was going to the hideaway. And I don't see Connor going to tell Ty he was going to take Shakira in the hideaway. Just saying. Just going to point it out. Just point it out. Don't be shooting the messenger, okay? Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just saying. That's it. But anyways, honestly, I know in the situation, the three least compatible couple, right, is Connor and Emma. I think they are justified. Then they should be up there. Lauren and Harrison. Now I completely get why they're up there. Harrison and Lauren would have made a nice couple if Harrison knew what he wanted. I don't think that they're not compatible. I think Harrison is thinking with his D-I-C-K instead of his head, right? Well, he's losing a head, but it's just not the correct head. You know what I'm saying? He's thinking with down there instead of up here, and he can't choose what he wants, so now he's making it messy for him and Lauren. Now, I think they would have been compatible, and don't get me wrong, I do kind of, some part of me like the idea of Tony and Harrison. I don't know why. There's a part of me that like the idea of them, but at the end of the day, if they're gonna do what they're gonna do, they need to do it properly. You know what I'm saying? Do not string on Cash, do not string on Lauren. And one thing I will say, Lauren, why? Lauren, why? Now, look at the pickle that this boy's putting you in. This boy can't even decide. He cannot decide if he wants to be with you or some other girl. He's sneaking on the terrace, trying to ask this girl, saying, would it be bad if I kissed you? And then what do you do after finding out that he's going on like this? You give him peace. You give up the cookie. You make him put it under the cookie jar. What's wrong with you, girl? Listen, how are men to respect us as women if we are constantly giving our bodies to the undeserving? Do you know what I'm saying? Thinking that we can use our bodies to get somebody to come closer to us and choose us. Let me tell you something. Coaching old man again. No matter how tight it is, in old man again. Okay. Just saying. But why would you do that? Lauren, you mad? Why you gonna do that? You give up the key to Heaven's Gate. God forgive me. Lord have mercy. But you give up key to the honey pot. What's wrong with you? The honey pot. You give the boy the honey pot. No, why would you do that in the situation that you're in? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. I just don't get it. I just do not get it. But anyways, so the other couple that's in the bottom three, Tommy and Lucy. Part of me thinking, woo, Tommy and Lucy. You know, why? Why Tommy and Lucy? Because technically you think people love Tommy, right? So they'll vote for him even if they don't like Lucy. But are people seeing through the Lucy situation? Because don't get me wrong, I'm not buying Lucy for Tommy. I'm not buying it. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like if I'm not buying it, other people ain't buying it. Because even when she's standing there, and I know she could just be very nervous, he had to ask her to hold his hand. And that could just be nerves. It really could just be nerves. So I'm not going to knock her for it. But I just don't see it. I don't see it. Right? But then again, Tommy and Lucy have become very boring in the villa. So their contribution isn't much. So it could just be that people went, you know what? They're boring. We're not going to vote for them. Get them out kind of situation. Now the power is in Ty and Shakira's hands. Now, I'm not quite sure whether she's going to have the balls to do the right thing. Because realistically, one could argue and say, Lucy and Tommy are in a good place because everybody is surprised that they're up there. They're compatible, they're getting along. So one could argue and say they're doing good and they should be saved because they're compatible, right? Devil's advocate here. Hear me out. Now, Harrison and Lauren. Harrison can't make his mind up. He's flipping and flopping. He don't know what he wants. He's now putting different couples in a position where, you know, it's making it very messy. Now, he is hurting Lauren, he's hurting Tony, and he's causing issue with Cash. Because at the end of the day, remember, there's 4 people in this mess, right? With Harrison gone, Tony could potentially focus on Cash. But would Cash really want that? Because at the end of the day, he doesn't want to be an option. And now he's only become the number 1 option because Harrison is no longer there. But if she chooses to let go of Harrison and send Harrison and Lauren home, which I feel like a part of her probably would be a bit tempted because she wants Tony to move on with her life. And I feel like if she does choose to let them go, she's going to say, I just want you to focus on Cash because I don't think he deserves you. And I feel like with him here, it's going to be hard for you because he's in your ears and he's leading you on. She's going to make that decision if she does send him home because she wants to help Tony to kind of like, you know, forget about Harrison. But if she was to send Harrison home, that would cause an issue with their friendship because Tony really wants to be with Harrison. She said it out loud and she said it out proud. Even when she was sat there, when the message came in, she said, if that's our last chat, I'm going to be so pissed, right? So if Shakira was the one to decide to send home Harrison, that, my friend, would cause an issue between her and Tony, for sure, right? But will she do the right thing, right? Anyways, she's not gonna send home Connor. Why? Because before they were chosen to be the most compatible, her and Ty, she was about to tell Ty that she wants to get to know Connor and she was going to cool it off with Ty. So she's made her choice. She wants to be with Connor. Now, Ty would probably want to get rid of Connor because realistically that's his competition. But the decision is both parties. So Shakira is not going to get rid of Connor. Maybe Emma, but not Connor. So Connor is saved. And Connor already knows this, right? So we know it's going to be between Harrison and Tommy. And, like I said, is she going to risk the friendship with her and Tony if she sends Harrison home? I don't think she has the balls to do it. So more than likely, everything's telling me Tony and Lucy is going home tomorrow. That's what I believe. Because if Shakira actually has the balls to send home Harrison and Lauren, I'm not going to lie to you, I would have a lot more respect for her, I would say. Because I've got some respect for her. I like her. But I'd have a lot more respect for her. Why? Because she's sticking to it and she's being true in that situation. Not a lot of people could do that because that's a tough place that she's in. I'm not going to lie. It's a very, very tough place that she's in. But let's see the decision that she will make tomorrow. I know she doesn't want to be in this situation, but it's rather to be the person who's choosing than the person be standing there waiting to be chosen. Do you see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, let's see how it plans out. But comment down below, let me know what you think will happen tomorrow. Who you think she will choose tomorrow. Do you know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I think it's going to be Tommy and Lucy. And I feel like if she comes with some bullshit like, all right, we're going to send home Tommy and Lucy because I feel like you guys have got on and you guys find something great. So it's good for you guys to go. If she comes with that bullshit. Because realistically, Emma and Connor need to go home. When you really come down to it, Emma and Connor would be the least compatible there standing and they need to go home. Because as much as Harrison is doing his shit, him and Lauren actually looks good together and they're all over each other. And the problem is not Lauren, the problem is Harrison. So realistically, there's nothing going on. Connor and Emma, they're in a friendship couple. And anybody else choosing would have sent them home. They're the one that should be going home. But Shakira's not going to do that. She's not going to do that. And if she saves Connor and sends Harrison home, it's going to be an issue. Because Tony's going to say, they're in a friendship couple. But you chose him because you want to be with him. But you're not thinking about me. I want to be with Harrison. And you sent him home. So that could potentially destroy their friendship. So she's only going to do the easy route. She's going to take the easy way out. And send Tommy and Lucy out. Guys, that's what's going to happen. I know that's what's going to happen. But I guess we'll have to wait till tomorrow to see. Because it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, I'm going to touch really briefly on Yasmin and Jamie. Because we haven't really seen much of them, like, you know, in their little couple and stuff. And it was kind of cute to see them. Because I was always wondering, you know, like, is it going to be a case where Giorgio and Yasmin, because you know how they were getting to know each other and then we didn't see anything and that was it. And then the next thing we knew, he was saying that, you know, she was saying that, you know what, I don't think there's a spark, and he was saying that there wasn't a spark. So I was wondering, was this the same thing that was happening with Yasmin and Jamie? But obviously not. Obviously not, because, you know, you can see where I feel like Jamie's bringing out the softer side of Yasmin. Do you know what I'm saying? Am I the only one seeing it? He's bringing out the softer side in her. And that is good, because if a guy brings out the softer side in you, it means that you really like him. You really like him. And I can see that. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of like cheering for her, because at the end of the day, she didn't get a good start. Do you know what I mean? But I'm hoping that, yes, they continue to get to know each other and like each other and you know, become something. But anyways, I'm not going to lie. I didn't want Andrada to go. I did not want Andrada to go at all, for us to be completely honest with you. Andrada and Meg sorted out their differences, and I'm glad that Meg was honest enough to say, you know what, I think my reaction was a bit over the top because you were the person that he was flirting with and the person that he was interested in. So I'm glad that she was at least honest and she owned that. We got to give her some respect for that. I'm not gonna lie, because it takes a big person to actually say it, even though we all know that's the reason why she kicked off at Andrada, because Andrada did nothing wrong. That anger was misplaced. Do you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, at least she owned it. Do you know what I mean? But I did not want Andrada to go at all. Do you know what I'm saying? At all. Now we know that Dijon, they're like exclusive, her and Dijon. I feel like Dijon, in his face, you could probably tell that he was like, oh, Andrada. But you know what? He's not gonna let it. It's not gonna let it show. He's not gonna. He's not gonna let it show. Especially because now they're exclusive. Do you know what I'm saying? Especially they're exclusive. Now, 1 minute before I actually end this video, when Harry called Emma for the chat to check up on her, I did not like when he came back and he was saying to Dijon, oh, he just feels that, or even the conversation he was having with Helena, so like, he's just tired of this. And I'm just like, dude, I'm not being funny. Helena let you slide with every single thing. All she's asking you is that, why did you not say anything to me? You could have just told me that you were going to pull her. Helena would have had no issue with him talking to Emma. Do you know what I'm saying? But obviously, that's his ex-girlfriend. So if I see you pulling your ex-girlfriend, of course I'm going to think, what the hell? What the hell? What's going on? Do you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, yes, you kind of owe her an explanation, especially because she knows how mad you've been moving. So when he said what he said, I'm just like, that was a very unfair comment, because to be honest with you, if anybody was to say that I'm tired of this, it should have been Helena. It really and truly should have been Helena. So you don't get to do as you want and not feel like you having to explain yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? When she pulls you up on it, especially knowing the way you've been behaving in the villa, do you know what I'm saying? She has all right to inquire about that conversation and how it went and what happened. Do you know what I'm saying? So for the fact that he's just like, well, I'm just over it. No. You don't get to do that. And I'm glad that Dee at least served a purpose in that conversation and said, you know what? I feel like if you had a conversation with her and she knew what that conversation was about, she would have not been upset. Because realistically, she would have not been upset because Eleanor has taken more shit than what that conversation is. You know what I'm saying? She would have not been upset. And you know what? Why I don't understand why he even said it, because his conversation with Emma was not disrespectful at all. He wasn't flirting with her. He wasn't trying to get back with her. He was just trying to say to her, listen, I'm here if you need to talk, because I don't want you to feel isolated. That's the kind of vibe I'm getting. So at the end of the day, I don't understand why he feels like, you know, he's tired of this, as if Helena came guns blazing. Like, come on, man. Come on, don't do that. We're not going to do that. Do you know what I'm saying? But anyways, guys, I have come to the end of the video. If you haven't yet thumbs up the video, please give the video a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, welcome and subscribe. I feel like there was something else that I was going to say, but I completely forgotten, like I always do. But it's okay, because guess what? If I remember, I'm going to put it where? In the comment section. Yeah, baby. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for your support as always. And I'll see you guys in tomorrow's review. But for now, keep it sassy-licious.